from Catch Pro Australia, and this is part 2 of our pricing talks for lawn care skull sessions. Joining me is my co-host, the bearded lordsman, BJ. How you going? How are you?
Oh, what's cracking, bro? Yeah, not too bad. Getting there. What about yourself?
Yep, mate.
How's the fam?
Well, my family's okay. I've been very frustrated. So it turned out that I think when we were shooting part 1, my wife and maybe my youngest were positive.
Yeah.
One of my other daughters had a positive test later that night as well. So it was just me and Macy that were sweet. And anyway, we both still are. We haven't caught it. So Macy, she'd been real paranoid, like, telling her sisters to get away from her and everything like that. And I pretty much just threw in the towel and was like, I was having to care for Nelly.
Yeah.
Nelly was all right. She wasn't really crook, but so I'm having to play with her, and in the end, we were playing board games, mate, and Nellie's got like the little pieces in her mouth. You know what I mean? Like, drinking out of people's water bottles, and so. So anyway, it's been really frustrating because I'm really the only one who has been able to get out, and I don't it's not fair for me to go out. I mean, it's not like I was doing stuff anyway, but I've mostly been around here just playing with the kids, to be honest.
Oh, we finally got a full weekend. That was good. But yesterday had a bit of an asthma attack and thought, oh no, better go and see a doctor. Turns out I've had a chest infection. So what I thought was like asthma getting worse and worse, it was actually a fucking chest infection. And last night I started in the afternoon, had temperatures. I was like, what am I, fucking 2 years old? I started like shaking and had the chills. It was electrifying.
That's your body, mate, fighting off the infection.
Yeah,
that's what a temperature is, right?
Yeah. So
yeah,
no, I'm all good. Antibiotics and some preventers and all that sort of jazz, and I'll be back in action.
I mean, the good news is, and I don't really know if I'm right about this, but usually when you get a bacterial infection rather than viral, it's good because you can get antibiotics. From what I understand, if it's viral, there's really nothing for it. You just have to let your body repair.
Yeah.
And antibiotics are not the greatest thing in the world, like especially not to be taking them regularly, but mate, they work really quick and fast. You make
especially
improvements.
If you don't take them all the time. That's what
absolutely,
I yeah, they've worked pretty well. But I was hitting the doc up because I'm headed towards 40, and I thought, while I'm at the doctor's, this is the first time in I don't know how long I'd been to the doctor's, and I was like, how about we get some blood tests and check me cholesterol and all that sort of shit? He's like, no. I was like, well, why not? He goes, there's no point, mate. You're sick. None of your stuff is going to be balanced anyway. I was like, shit. So it looks like I'm actually going to have to go back to the doctors. Might get a physical. Might get.
Well, that's better than what I thought. That's better than what I thought you were going for. I thought you were going to ask him to finger you and check you like.
Can still come.
Anyway, shall we? What do you think about getting straight bang into this episode, bro?
Why not, eh?
So where we were, I don't know how far through the comments we were, but I do believe we're up to John Morton's comment now. To catch everyone up, if everyone's just getting amongst this episode, I would probably urge you to go back to the previous episode to catch part 1. We're talking about pricing, and it's a generalized conversation. Just to reiterate a little bit further, BJ and I are obviously discussing our opinions on certain comments. However, I think in most cases there isn't a lot of right and wrong. We're just getting a gauge for what other people are doing. Maybe they have some new structures that some of our listeners don't know about, or any other sneaky little tricks or hacks to help really the whole mowing community. If there's people out there struggling.
Yeah, yo.
No, go on. What was that?
No, I said yo.
Yeah, we're starting off on a good note here, aren't we?
Boy, it's so fucked. I can't wait to cuddle again.
Well, we should be right from Tuesday. I think Tuesday. Oh yeah, you're right. All right, let's just pick this up from John Morton's comment. He says he gets great satisfaction from the work I do, and find that every time I start thinking about how much per hour I'm making out of this, I get anxious and start to rush, and then don't enjoy it. I don't think I'm on my own with this one. I've stopped timing my work. I charge more for jobs I don't like and less for jobs I do like. Nice people want nice lawns and appreciate my work and pay less than those that just want their grass cut. He goes on to say, I book $500 to $600 a day. Sometimes I'm finished by lunchtime. Sometimes it'll take until 5. Don't get caught up in what everyone else is doing and enjoy what you are. And you'll get the financial rewards. The freedom this industry gives to spend time with family and friends is important reward than how much you to make an hour. So there's a fair bit to unpack in that sort of comment there. Was there anything that sort of stuck out to you around that 500?
I think
around that 500, 600 a day is one of those sort of. That's the type of turnover that I look at and say, look, if he's turning over that much and he's, potentially finishing sometimes at lunchtime and has a really good balance, then that is just an awesome situation. What more could you ask for, right?
100%, yeah. And the fact that he does hit on a point, like when you are on the clock, when you're doing hourly, it does make you kind of anxious to just get it done. Well, it does me anyway, and especially when you're on a big job. And so I do have a couple of acreages on hourly, and I'm always thinking, I wonder if they're just fucking looking at me through the window, flicking my songs or something like that. I wonder if they've got the stopwatch out. But no, and the fact that he's making $500 to $600 a day and getting home at lunchtime some days, that's awesome.
Absolutely. Now, Humongous has chimed in here with a few sexual comments
yes.
about saving us some dollars for stripping. Ruben says, I'm starting to remember why I listen to the podcast and not watch YouTube version of the show. These mental images will give you nightmares. Josh has a comment here saying, I'm genuinely looking forward to this episode as I'm coming up to 12 months since starting. I earned $500 to $600 a day in winter and $600 to $1,000 over spring, summer. Interested to hear how others charge out right on work, especially the difference with slashing, mulching, catching, and the nicer maintained lawns. So that's more of a comment that, he's sort of trying to listen in to see what others are doing. Luke Smith, which is the numbers guy, he says the main problem with pricing is that so many small businesses don't actually sit down and properly work out exactly what they need to be charging, especially with an accountant. Until they start having big problems, usually at the point it's too late financially or they get burnt up and sell. So,
have you
I'm glad.
Have you got an accountant back in the day or now or?
Look, I do have an accountant. I never discuss with them what it is that I should be earning. In my business, sure, we had times where we probably weren't earning enough, throughout the times. However, I just never had a problem with what I was charging, and I never really looked to anyone for any advice.
Yeah.
Even when I was quoting my villages, I'd look at some of the pricing and some of the structures, and I'm just one of those people, like, I just go with my gut. I don't generally follow what other people are doing, and maybe I wasn't making the most that I could have. However, we were just never really in a situation. Now on the flip side of that, I'm not going to sit here and say that, we were so profitable that I was able to pack up my family and, go on a trip to the snowy mountains, or, like I wasn't like a rich person. But at the same time, we're just normal middle class. And look, no matter what, I mean, I've had kids for a decade, and I would have very rarely worked past 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things that if you're working 8 hours a day in any other job, you really, even if it's a really high paying job, you know what I mean? Like, you're only going to get paid a certain amount.
That's it. If you don't want to push over those 8 hours, then you're kind of stuck. That's how I got sort of stuck at the old place I was at, because there was so much overtime on offer. I thought it was awesome. But now I'm not trying to be a dick, but pretty much what I make in a day is what I used to make in, say, 4.5 days at my old job. So I know that was fucking nearly 8 years ago or something, but still, it's crazy. Like the amount of hours that you have to put in that when you're not working for yourself is bonkers. Unless you are like, pretty good at what you do, like an engineer or some shit like that. They write their own paychecks.
McPhee's Garden Services replies to Luke Smith, says, mate, you've covered this before, and the basic thing is to work out your running cost and the amount of billable hours you can get in on today's figures. At a minimum 35 to 40 an hour would be needed before you even turn the key on in the ute to make a wage for you, and then some profit plus your tax plus super. It's a lifestyle for sure, but to go the long journey, you need a good rate to survive. When you work out how many hours you can charge for, is worth sitting down to work out. It's not as simple as just an 8-hour day. So, sort of on the right track there. I still think, even though, like, Luke probably hits it on the head the best, everyone's going to be different, and everyone needs to work out what it is that they need to be making.
Yeah.
Rather than someone saying, like, you need to be making 100 an hour, or you need to be making this, and this, otherwise you're a failure of business. That is the part that I don't agree with.
And let's be honest, when you used to get home at 3 o'clock, that's not really when your workday used to finish. It's like one part of your job finishes, and the next one starts with your invoicing and your maintenance, and you're getting ready for the next day, and then, thinking about what you're doing, getting your diary ready, and then you can relax. So it's never an 8-hour day, but we've already covered the non-billable shit.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Sam Gunn says, if the customer hasn't screened at the invoice, you haven't charged high enough. That's obviously a little comical comment. There is a few back and forths there from a few folks, but Stagger Lee comes in and says, I've always said how long a job takes is far from the only factor. If you're fucked after doing a 2-hour job to the point you can't do much else after it, was it really a 2-hour job? How hard a job is on you personally has to be a huge factor in the rate charged. Yeah, I agree to that. That goes along with, some of the specialized equipment stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Didn't want to have anything else to build on that, or?
No, that's what I was agreeing with. That's what I wanted to say, specialized equipment. But yeah, man, there's not much more that you can say. It's pretty accurate. Shit jobs are worth more. Like shoveling fucking rocks or shoveling mulch. I know which one I'm charging more for.
That's right. Jason O'Brien says, I've only been doing this for 4 months and the learning curve has been steep. Hourly rate started at 50, then 60, now 75 minimum. About half of my business is 2 hours lawn and garden for 150. And this works well for me. It's satisfying to see the gardens improved every fortnight. In the future, I can see how having more quoted fixed prices lawns will only be more profitable. But for now, he's all good. So, once again, like my advice is to probably be sticking to those fixed prices.
Yeah.
You can get caught out sometimes if, you charge $300 to trim a hedge and it takes you 70 minutes. Some clients might look at that and go like, geez, fuck, but at the end of the day, if you've quoted it and they've accepted the quote, that, there really shouldn't be that many issues after that.
Yeah, that's it.
James Cinturino said the first thing to find out what your break-even point is and work from there. Every contractor will have a different break-even point, so you can't compare apples with apples. I could have a break-even point at 800 but earn 1,000 a day. Another contractor might break even at 400 and earn 800 a day. Turnover is less, but profit is more. So, we can all get with that. BRM Mowing says that this is spot on. John J. Kwenko. I cooked that. He says $25 front and back.
Good prices. That's those beginning Benny's prices.
He must be a fucking hairdresser now or something with those prices. Rob Bullock, can't wait to hear this episode. As here in Adelaide, I find I go by the prices I read on here and I nearly have no work. But in saying that, I do agree with prices, as I feel we all work bloody hard, not just as a gardener who only deserves $25 for doing lawns. I have got some fantastic customers and they do pay well and on point. Just got to get more quality customers is my goal. Now, I'll just stop that there for a minute. When we talk about quality customers and stuff like that, there's a lot of people out there that are doing they're just doing, say a slash and dash or, people that are specializing in like real shitty jobs or, and there's tons of money in that, right?
Yeah, 100%. There's a specialty market for, I think is it Bradley Fell, who I think that's his name. He just tends to get these overgrown shitholes, and I just don't know why he doesn't make that his specialty and just buy some specialty equipment just to always, like every single post he puts up is basically just this bomb ass fucking place that he makes look pretty fucking good. And he's like, don't know how to charge for these places. I'd be charging a fucking lot, that's for sure. But no, I totally get it. It's fucking one of those things. I just find it a bit hard when you do put your prices forward, and you're at a more wealthier, let's call them wealthier customers, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, that's too expensive, when they got like fucking limousines and shit out the front. Oh, I literally used to work for someone who had 2 limousines in their yard. They had, I think they had like 2 Lincoln Continentals in the shed. Like they're on 6 acres. Like, dude, it was huge. You would know the place on Geldart Road. And yeah, they had fucking crazy money. And
I remember that one. But I think what we have to realize sometimes is that these rich people are rich for a reason. They didn't get rich by just getting ripped off or paying top dollar for everything that they do. Yeah. Now, I'm not suggesting in that comment that paying top dollar is being ripped off, but some of these rich people out there, man, they're hustlers. Like, and if they've been super efficient and kept their own overheads down and increased their own profits, then it's really, I think that's probably another thing that when we're all talking about that's one thing that we always forget as well, is that it's a two-way street. Like with every job that you're charging yourself out for, on the other side of the street, you have a paying customer, and their goal is to get the job done as cheap as possible. Your job as a businessman is to earn the most money you can, and you really have to meet in the middle. So, sometimes I
wonder who actually pays more. I've noticed, like, when it's been, tradies and things like that I've worked for, they don't bat an eyelid at the quote because they actually know, especially people who run their own business, actually know what it's like. And I find that
possibly like I get that to a certain extent, and I guess it's just for some things. Like I think a while ago I told the story about I was getting some stairs put on my back deck.
Yep.
And this dude walks in, he's like, yeah, it's going to be like 8 to 10. And I mean, I didn't really like his attitude. I thought it was pretty expensive. And I was just like, oh, yeah, I'll give you a call back. Hey, and straight away, like, I mean, I've never paid for stairs in my life. I didn't really know what they were worth. But like, I was immediately thinking like, no, man, this dude's way too high. And he's just like, you know what I mean? He's just trying to make a buck, or, you know, maybe he's so busy, he doesn't need the work. And, you know, people are no different in other trades. So anyway, we'll move on to Jaden Ribchester's comment. He's sort of like a regular on the podcast. Prices definitely vary in different locations, but the way I look at it, my smaller jobs, 800 square meter house and land places or less, I more look at making sure they're at a minimum $1,000 a year in mowing, as if you could say 100 clients, that's a minimum of 100K. I'm not sure that I'm liking any of this theory, you know, about sort of bulking it that way. I think it needs to be just definitely like a price per cut basis rather than looking at as a whole. My minimum is $66, and usually that's what I quote on jobs that take 20 minutes or less, which on 18 cuts a year is close to $1,200 a year, which is just mowing cost properties. You'll get gardening works at slower months too. $66 for 20 minutes, eh?
That's pretty good. You can fucking knock them out. Yeah, you can knock a few good ones out in a row.
Every job I quote, I don't really work off hourly, but for mowing, either ride on or push mowing, aiming for 132 an hour, and aim for a similar rate. Gardening maybe slightly lower, as I have less equipment and expenses. See, for me, when I was push mowing, it never once occurred to me to think of anything as an hourly rate or whatever. Like, I never looked at a job and was like, fuck, this is going to take me an hour. I'm going to charge 80 or 100.
Yeah.
It was always, everything was legit. Like, geez, this is a fucking big place. I'm going to charge them X amount, or, you know.
There's more snipping, or like every job is different in some aspects. Like there's shit access, or there's 2 stairs, or fucking something like that. Charge them an extra $40 for the stairs, and you know, it's
David goes on to say, I believe working out what you need to make a year is important. Say you want 120K a year solo, that's 10K a month, year around, or 2.5K a week. I reckon making smaller achievable goals is important, but also keeping a work-life balance. So I guess he's on the right track. He's just grouping it into a year rather than weekly or monthly. Like, I know I had to work everything out on a weekly basis because my brain just couldn't function. Like, the way that I've set up, everything was fortnightly or weekly or whatever. And like, if my weeks were really lopsided with turnovers, that would even just fuck me up.
Yeah,
like
we freak out if people don't know
like
if
I was making 3,500 one week and only 2,700 the next week, it would just fuck with me so much. And so okay. Ash Smithers, now he's WA boy. I think as long as you look at the figure at the end of the day and you're hitting what you need to hit, you're on the right track. I see a lot of people say that they won't get their mower out or their trailer out for X amount, but I reckon that depends on your location, what you're doing, and how you run your business. Most of my lawns are tiny, around the $46 mark, including fertilizer, wetting agent, GST, and are all residential. Some may say it's too cheap. But clearing 800 to 1,000 a day solo is more than enough money in the books. Now, I'll tell you what, for $46, right, including fertilizer, doing 800 to 1,000 a day, I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like, that's doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
What's that? 20 jobs.
Yeah.
That's 20 jobs. Okay. My hourly rate.
It's a lot of.
Yeah,
Well,
my
I
hourly
mean,
rate.
depends how he's grouped. And again, like he could have like a couple of villages on the go and just do a bunch of courtyards or something like that. Who knows? But
Yep. My hourly rate ends up very high because my run is very tight. I do around 90 residential lawns a fortnight on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday only. Monday and Tuesdays are kept for free. New lawns that aren't in my schedule yet, random jobs or whatever else I like to do, maintenance, etc. Eventually, as I take on more clients, Monday and Tuesday will just be regular lawns too. So, I mean, that's crazy. He's doing
3 days a week stacked. Absolutely stacked.
Well, so he's got 3 days that he does 90 regulars with.
No, 6 days. Isn't that a fortnight?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. That's a fair fucking effort still.
Now, Tristram has chimed in with a few comments here. He seemed to be just having a laugh at most of it. $450 an hour for catch mowing. So I think he's just taking the piss there. Chris has a comment here and says that his aim is to take home 100 per hour, so charge 120 per hour to cover driving time between jobs. Only been at this for 6 months, but I have over 50 residential clients and no one has said I charge too much. Usually at 50, 60 per lawn and up to 15 per day. I only work 3 days a week. So hasn't been in the game very long, but it's got a pretty cool looking business there.
Definitely. I think a lot of the time when people are talking about route density, I think that hourly rate comes up when they've got it on point. And it kind of makes sense that you bust two $60 lawns out in an hour. They're not huge lawns. They're obviously quoted, right? Like $60 lawn for half an hour's work. That's not too bad. But I think that's where some of the hourly rates get skewed. I think when people are doing like bigger jobs and there's more travel time, then your hourly rate's going to go down. Because fucking I know mine did. At the start, I was driving all over the place. I was useless.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said hourly rate doesn't mean shit unless you really look at what you earn for the whole week. Like I had mentioned in last week's episode, I used to do a $400 job in 1 hour, and some people look at those figures and go like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it's when you look at it over that 5-day period, I was still only making, say $3,000 for the week or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, that's
Brendan says, my personal take is that everyone will have their own costs based on overheads and their own expectations based on past experience, two separate things. Things are going to change a lot based on business models, each to their own. Simon Turtle says, no matter where you are or what you're doing, you need to charge whatever it takes to support your family and their needs, and also to keep yourself and your tools of the trade running to do the best job you can for your client. I have an hourly rate in my head, roughly 90 for mowing, 120 for gardening and landscaping works, but never let the client know this. I normally see what they want done and calculate how long it will take me to do the job, then add on tip fees and an extra hour or two to allow for any unforeseen circumstances that may arise whilst doing the job. As my regular mowing clients have a schedule as to when I'm coming to mow their lawns, and they have a dog and is there turds on the lawn, I'm there to mow their lawn. A $20 turd tax is applied. Sidebar, it's great to have her back, keeping us entertained, and he hopes Ella is continued to doing well.
She is. She's doing very well. I think that's good. He's got some good hourlies, which is good. The tip fee thing, okay, so you'll be the same as me. did you really pay that much in tip fees back in the day? Because me neither. Because we get
even if I went to the tip every single day, which there was definitely points in my business where I was doing it. Like I've always had a huge trailer, but like it doesn't cost me any more than $30.
Yeah, and even then, like we get vouchers, especially when you're in the villages. I've already started getting the new ones. Now, am I a dog if I go and do a job and charge tip fees and then use vouchers and pocket the cash?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Well, you'd be with me on that one.
No, look, those vouchers, it depends. Like if that person gave you the vouchers and then you charge them for tipping, that's a fucking huge dog act.
Yeah. Hey, actually,
Is that what you're talking about?
No. Like if I've got them already and I charge someone for dumping and then I go dump it for free and use the vouchers. I actually just saw someone selling 20 vouchers, which is what 2 ton for $80 on Marketplace. So
Yeah.
I mean, they are worth it to some people. I've even back in the day, I even used to barter and I used to do swapsies. So I used to do like a little $40 lawn, and some lady gave me like 50 dump vouchers, which is fucking, that's worth a fortune. Because you can also bring your weight down, because I've got the heavier rig now. If you go, I can't remember if you go over a certain amount, you can use a voucher and it brings it back down. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. So from what I understand, tip fees just must be so different all over Australia, because here in Brisbane, it's like, I believe it's $30 up to 500 kilos of green waste. And 500 kilos of green waste is quite a substantial amount of green waste.
Yeah.
You know, when I first started going to the tip, it was $6.90.
Yeah, actually, it was pretty close to that. And we used to be able to use out-of-date vouchers as contractors.
Yeah. Now, Dale has a comment here and says, this will be a comical episode. We charge day rate. Sorry, my price is top secret, but it works for us and makes us 25 to 30% profit. So I don't really know how to take that comment, but he obviously doesn't feel that he needs to.
Is that Urban Turf?
Yeah.
Dale, he's got a rabbit that's happening down there. So he keeps buying skags, so he must be making some money.
Yeah, that's it. Scott Hutton says, I found the hardest thing being new to the industry was having confidence in yourself and your quality of work. Undercutting yourself tends to happen a lot, and agreeing on a cheaper price, because that's how much the last guy did it for. Understanding that confidence in yourself and your prices so that you make a profit is huge when you struggle starting out. Now, I guess this comment here is something to sort of bring to light. A lot of the time people are talking about pricing in regards to, hey, this is what I'm worth, you know, rudder. But there's a few things here that, you know, I mean, how often do you think contractors out there are actually being hustled? Like if you say, okay, I'm going to quote you $70, no, mate, 60, or that's it.
Starting.
You know,
well, even I copped it. You know, I'd get to a job, I'd quote it on the spot. That's why I started saying, you know, I'll send you a quote, give me your email. So I'll send the quote through, and that way, you know, I can't get into like a face-to-face bartering fucking thing, because I don't like it. I don't like doing that. Especially, you know, some people have got like a bit of a gift of the gab, and especially when you feel bad for people and shit like that. So I'll normally go home, think about it, then send them an official quote. If they're not happy with it, then fucking too bad. But when I first started out, 100%, like there there was definitely fucking jobs I took on that I should not have, like, they were a waste of money job. It took me, it would take me 2-3 months to go, oh, why the fuck did I do this? And I'd have to be like, oh, I got too much work on. I can't service your property anymore. But no, it's definitely a thing. And the confidence thing, like, it takes a while to build confidence. If you're not used to dealing with people, then yeah, confidence is a huge thing. He's talking about confidence in his work. I didn't find that my work was the problem.
No, look, I do think he's talking about, he does mention quality of work as well.
Yeah.
But I think he's talking about confidence as in that face-to-face and, saying what it is. It's like the only time I ever felt that is if I was charging someone that I knew, like a family member or a friend.
Yeah.
I never, ever had an issue with a random person saying like, all right, the price is going to be $60. If someone had said to me, like if I had something quoted at 60, and I thought this is for, say, residential mow, and I thought like, oh, $60, I'm more than happy with this. And they said, well, how does 55 sound? I wouldn't immediately shut that down. It'd just be like, if they had a dog at the property, there was probably not a lot of chance that I would go down on that price.
Yeah.
Next comment is Michael Squires. He says, if everyone was trying to work on the price structure Oz-wide, that would be very interesting. How about everyone run their own race and not worry about X, Y, and Z would charge for the same job in said area? If you're working in the same area, same equipment, some prices would match, but some have more overheads, so need to earn more money. As long as you can pay the bills and are happy with your job and the profits are done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't agree more. And that's
I totally agree. Everyone does different, so everybody needs to charge more. I do think like there's a roundabout price where like most of them sort of, everyone kind of comes back to like a lawn is worth between $50 to $70 on just a standard lawn. But it's I've got a few overheads, and when it comes to staff, things change. It's all a matter of what you need.
Cody Williams has a comment here saying 4 years in and I'm still nervous going and doing quotes, even though I have more than enough work. These days I'm doing lawns. I used to charge $40 for at least 80 now. So I must be doing something right, but always in the back of my mind, I'm being greedy. Pops up even though my costs are worth it. So Cody's really saying that, he's charging $80 for this work and he's being successful. People are paying it, but he feels greedy.
Well, I don't think he should feel like that. They obviously feel like he's worth it.
Yep. I can understand it a little bit. Like I had some jobs that I inherited from Shorey that were just quoted like out of control. And I just always felt a little bit the same. Like there was no way to justify some of these prices. Like if someone came up to me and said like, okay, we just had a look, like a commercial property. We used to get paid 350 plus GST. And like, I couldn't be there for longer than an hour. Like, even if I was just working so meticulously and everything. And honestly, like if someone came up to me, like let's say a new manager started or something, let's say they looked at the books and they came up to me and said, Ben, you've been here for about 5 years and, I've just had a look at what we're paying you. Are you able to break this down and tell me what it is we're paying for? Like I would have been in all sorts. Like there was no way I could justify that job being more than $100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was getting 350.
Yeah. Plus GST.
So I can.
Oof. Huh? Plus GST. Oof.
Yeah, plus GST, man.
That's cool. But I mean, what do? You inherited it. You just blame Shorey.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, luckily I was never really quizzed on it, so I just rode that motherfucker until it went out. Dan Owens, quote lawns at 100 an hour, general gardening work at around 75 an hour, but both of these are quoted by the job. Day rate dependent on requirements of work, but start at $750 per person. Been in business since March and plodding along pretty well. Last month was over 9K gross and worked 17 days from Perth and WA. Yeah, I mean,
Very nice.
hasn't been in the game very long.
Yeah.
Obviously loving his numbers and feels pretty confident.
I definitely didn't grow as quickly as I thought I would. I think it took me to like year 3 before I actually saw like, I don't know, like a different, like you kind of get it, like you get the business. In the first 2 years, I kind of was floundering a bit, trying to find my feet and getting out of the rat race. Like I was used to doing everything a certain way. I was used to night shift, and then it definitely took me a little while, but I fucking got there in the end. But yeah, it took me a few months, a few years to get there, and now look at me.
Yeah. Masson Rangers mowing, $1,500 a day. I charge $75 a lawn to do 20 lawns. Already have 300 clients and only been going 6 weeks, and I have a 5-day weekend every week. I don't know if this is legit or not. Like 6 weeks, building a business of 300 clients, doing 20 lawns a day, like that's pretty crazy. Sorry?
Building or buying? How the fuck do you get 300 clients in 6 weeks? That's...
I don't know. I mean, it would be irrelevant whether he, if he bought it, doesn't matter to me. But I think for people usually starting out in the industry, even if they've done 6 weeks of paid work, I think they'd be flat out having done even 300 different mows before.
Yeah.
No, that's a fuckload.
Yeah, that's a shitload.
I mean, look, maybe that's legit. Actually, here we go. Footscray Mowing says 300 clients after 6 weeks in the industry, or are you being funny? And he replies with, "You're right. Sorry, I meant 600 after 3 weeks." So I'm assuming a lot of those comments are taking the piss. Looks like we have a few more piss comments here. Tristram says, gorillas have the smallest penis to body size ratio.
It's true.
I mean, I didn't know that. So I'm glad I read. I'm going to skip a few comments here because it looks like there's a bit of bullshit happening. Marcus says, I typically work both hourly rates and fixed pricing. Fixed for lawns, typically hourly rates on hedging. Commercial properties, I'll always fix the price and generally higher than a residential pricing. So I don't have a problem with a lot of those comments. Luke Peters says, open mouth, kiss me. And I'm assuming he's talking to you, pal.
I don't know if he wants it right now. A little bit nervous. He might get sick.
I'll tell you what, I haven't open mouth kissed anyone in like 6 days because my wife has cocoa.
Just go and give Mocker a lick on the face. Ew, chicken juice.
He's too passionate.
No one's killed any new chickens?
Nah, mate.
Nah, all good.
Chickens ain't messing with the Vandergeesens anymore. Okay, Ruben says, one thing some guys who've been mowing for around 30 years in my town have told me is that when Jim's Mowing came to town, that is when the prices pretty much doubled. A lot of people bag out gyms, but from what I've seen, they know what they're talking about. And if you find one, you can befriend them and they can be a great source of pricing. That's pretty clever.
Yeah.
We do know that some franchises have, certain rates, like, certain pricing structures where it's like, for an 800 square job, you're not getting out of your car for less than $90 or whatever the case is.
I wonder if they're just guided towards those prices. Like, is it a price guide or is it a is it something that they have to adhere to?
I wouldn't suggest that it's something that they have to adhere to. I believe it's more something because their marketing is so strong.
Yeah.
And they obviously, like, if you have never paid for a contractor before and you move into a rental property and you're like, fuck, I need a mower man, and you don't know what you're doing, or you don't feel like fuck assing around, the very first thing you're going to do that pops into your head is Jim's mowing. And I think for a lot of those people, they can either now go online and get some sort of, instead of, if you bring an independent contractor, I would assume that maybe 70% of the time they'll say, I'll have to have a look before I can give you a price.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sure. But you have a rough pricing. And sometimes that contractor, like, I know for me, I was like, man, I don't have any fucking rough pricing until I see your property, all right?
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Whereas they can probably ring up a Jim's contractor and get some sort of start price. Like, man, I don't go nowhere for less than $60.
Yeah.
And so, look, even with this comment being said that, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of gyms franchises are unsuccessful in every single year, but there is a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot of gyms franchises go bust, or move on, or whatever the case is. So even if they do have, like, I understand this comment about, saying like, yes, they've kept their prices high and it's a good way to gauge the market. At the same time, we know that those franchises, man, they go fucking bust all the time. So it's not the best thing since sliced bread.
Wow.
Paul Snow says, Ruben, you are very correct. Find what Jim's quotes for a job of -$5, and that's the correct amount for the quote. So, little hack for everyone there. Thank you, Paul Snow. Travis Thompson says, I like the vid of the bloke who took over in the Aussie lawn mowing page from Gregor a while back. I'm assuming that that's Luke Smith.
Luke O'Neill.
Because he was very... No, I think it was Luke Smith.
Oh, really? Okay.
He was a lot more prominent on the Aussie contractors page with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Luke O'Neill is over there as well. I don't recall whether he had a lot of content on pricing or not. $3 to $4 a minute for hedge trimming, chainsawing, etc. Then more if you're up a ladder. So, like I said, I don't know if I could get with some of that pricing structure.
Like breaking it down to the minute.
Or like, hey, if I need to walk up a ladder, it's, an instant extra couple of dollars, rudder. I mean, the ladder, I guess some people, like, I know I've done jobs before where maybe I should have had a ladder and I'm trying to reach it with my pole hedger. And I've said to myself in my head, Ben, if you fucking just went to the rig right now and got your ladder, you'd be fucking done by now.
Yeah.
And have a look at you. Fucking reaching and doing all sorts of shit.
On the flip side, on the flip
What's
side,
that?
I've seen guys using a ladder, but they're using a hand hedger. So they're not even using, like, it's stuff that you could hit with a pole saw, piece of piss, but they've got a hand hedger. So,
I'm amazed that they're even a thing. Like, tons of people still use handheld hedges.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that people use them.
No. I mean, we've got the Ego one, and we love it. Like, Will has actually just claimed it. It's but it's good because we have a lot of tight access. So, like, hedges that do have a gap between the house and the hedge, but it's tight access. Tight access to the point where I don't like going in between. So.
Patrick has a comment here saying per job or day rate, hourly doesn't reward an investment in efficiency. Also, I think you should charge according to your skills and equipment. So, I mean, he's pretty right there. Like, if you're super efficient, it just doesn't make it honestly, like, it doesn't make any sense to be charging an hourly rate. You know, so and we've said it a million times, like, man, I don't reckon anyone should charge an hourly rate for anything.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the only time it really should be used if you just legitimately cannot put a gauge on how long that job is going to take. Because at least you know from a business standpoint, if you've got an hourly rate and the job goes an hour or two extra than what you thought, you're at least going to be compensated.
Yeah, well, that's why. That's the only reason why I'll use it is on my acreages that have mowing. I could set the mowing price, no worries. But some days they'll get me to do the hedges around the pool. Some days they'll get me to do the hedges around the house. Some days they'll get me to spray. Some days I'll be out the back just picking up leaves. Like, it's a couple of acre properties, and you know, it everything takes a little bit different time, and you know, it's fucking. I'm not going to lose out on them, that's for sure.
I like Jake Beard's comment here. He says, I charge hourly based on skill, experience, and equipment. I've been full-time for over 15 years. I pay more tax than some people earn here. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a serious comment. I guess it is.
Yeah.
I think we should, even though I laughed at that comment, and it's because I think it's funny. But I think we probably do need to reiterate again that, like, you know, that's, I mean, I guess he's turning over a shitload of money, right?
Yeah.
But we don't really want to devalue other businesses, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You know, so I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to say that because I laughed at the comment. So if you're one of these people,
there's tons of businesses on the page on LMCA, Aussie Contractors, that probably do just absolutely dominate, but they're not vocal like like some of the little guys, because I don't know if they feel like they're speaking for everyone that's employed by their companies. Like, there's massive companies that are on LMCA and that they just stay nice and quiet, but you know. But I
mean, I know tons of. Daniel Tomlinson says, my 2 cents, just 18 months in myself and still learning. I think the key is that one size doesn't fit all. Many factors to consider, such as location, type of work, size of the job, waste fees, distance to jobs, machinery used, wear and tear, overgrown job, standard maintenance, likelihood of more work, add-ons, possibly competition. Now, I'm just going to stop it there at competition. I mean, look, I'm guessing some areas are more competitive than others, but man, I don't ever recall, you know, having my prices based on what others may or may not do in my area.
No, I mean, I was actually more expensive than, like, I had a street in Tingalpa. I ended up with something like 9 of the houses on there, and there was still one that wouldn't come over to me. I don't know if he was a friend of the people's family or some shit. But anyway, I was talking to him, and he's like, "Oh, I used to do that bloke across the road and that lady down the road," and and he goes, "Is he still a cheap prick?" And I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Oh, he wouldn't give me any more than $30." I was like, "Fuck, I wouldn't even go through his front gate for less than like 45." This was when I first started, so it wasn't just about price. It's not always about price. I think the service comes into it a lot. So I don't know, competition.
Yeah, sure.
I haven't really come up against competition. I don't think there's tons of other contractors, but I don't see them as competition unless they don't fucking wave back.
Daniel also goes on to say, helps when you build up a reputation. I've increased my day rate by $150 and don't entertain work for any less now. PJ says, I just let the customer tell me what they want to pay and go from there. Happy 30 years in the industry to me as the 1st of August. and still clueless. I'm assuming that there might be a little bit of truth to that, but I think he's taking the piss. Jake Beard does chime back in and says hourly for worst case, then the premium becomes your fixed. Nurtured lawns, it's irrelevant what you charge per minute, hour, day, unless you know what it costs you. I might swing my old boy around and say I charge $200 an hour, but if my business costs $210 an hour, I'm going broke. You can have a really efficient basic setup, charge a modest fee and look like a cowboy, but be turning a nice profit. And the bloke towing half a mower shop around the suburbs and charging a fortune is one dry summer away from growing broke. Tell me your hourly rate means jack. At best, figures being thrown around should be a very rough guide. So this is pretty much what we've been saying all along, just in a little bit more of a blunt way.
I like it.
Yeah. So, look, I do think there is another side to that. Like if you're like, oh man, I charge $30 an hour. I just can't see how you would be as successful as someone that's charging more. I know that completely goes against that comment. It's just that you have to expect that someone is going to be using a petrol snipper, a petrol blower, and a petrol mower.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, that stuff is like, that's your bare minimum, and that's going to cost you X amount no matter what.
Yeah.
And there has to be some sort of starting point. Thomas says, I've only just started dipping myself into being a lawn contractor. I'm running a fully paid off setup using a Falcon ute only to carry my gear. No trailer. Parking here is terrible. HR 216 spare mower with a couple of whips and blowers. I'm in an area where most houses are built on a postage stamp size block. Most only have a small nature strip and a bit of front patch. I make my money charging a minimum call out fee of $60, with the average time being about 15 to 20 minutes. With good route density, $180 an hour is an unachievable number on a regular basis. For larger jobs, I look at charging about $2 a minute, then work out how long I think it will take, then just add on 10 minutes or so. Obviously, this would only work for the type of area I'm in. I'm eagerly awaiting this podcast to work out how to charge gardening and hedging works. Winter has been very quiet due to my regulars going monthly, and I only started in April. With the recession and interest rates going up, we will soon see what this season brings. Look forward to this 4-hour podcast. Now, he's sort of, it's quite a busy comment. Said that he's looking forward to this to learn a little bit about hedge quoting and stuff like that. I think it's difficult. I mean, the reason why we're doing this episode is to kind of explain to people that it's not the easiest thing to tell someone how to quote.
Yeah. There's so many variables, especially hedging. Like you never know when you're gonna pull out the pole saw or something like that. Like you'll be hedging and all of a sudden you get to a thick bit and it'll hold you up 20 minutes. And then, hedging is one of the hardest things. I know fucking Kyle, he's been absolutely smashing the hedge reductions lately. There's a dude, Chris Trigger. He's local to me. He does a lot of hedge reductions. That's probably one of the hardest things to quote, I reckon. Not regular hedging, but like big hedging jobs. Like it's fucking.
Well, I know personally for hedge reductions, I was always charging top dollar, because going back to Stagger's comment, if you do like let's say a 2 or 3 hour hedge reduction, you just don't fucking feel like doing anything else after that.
No way.
Especially if it's a couple of meters up.
Yeah.
If you're doing like if you've got a 2 meter hedge and they want 50% taken out of it, well, that's pretty easy, because you just, pick a line and go for it. If it's a 4 meter hedge and they want it dropped a meter, that's a fucking bastard of a job.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you've got to be up 3 meters high, and you've got to maintain that same thing. You're chopping off a meter at a time. So depending on how long that hedge is, you can have a fuckload of garden waste.
You got fucking possums jumping out, fucking birds, fucking wasps. Oh yeah.
Boy, dude, I fucking legitimately cut a possum's tail off once.
No, you did not, you piece of shit.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to. I didn't even know that I did it. I just seen this thing jump out, and my offsider at the time's like, "Oi, you cut its tail off," and I was like, "No." Didn't even feel any resistance.
You docked it.
Paul Luck has a comment here and says, "I work in a good area of Brisbane, and my average mow is 70 plus GST. Average mow time is 25 minutes. So from parking to pulling away." That's mulching with a time master. So it equates to $168 an hour plus GST. If I was catching with a 21-inch, average time would be more like 35 minutes, which would be 120 an hour. So as you can see, you can dramatically increase your hourly rate just by making simple efficiency increases. I win 95% of my quotes, so I'm probably not charging enough. In my opinion, I can see no reason why anyone in this industry can't be making a minimum of 100 an hour plus GST billable time. Anything less than this, I think you are ripping yourself off. It's important to have a price rise system in place as well. I increase all my customers by $5 a mow every 24 months. That's about 4% rise per annum. Biggest mistake I see others making, quoting an hourly rate. I think any job can be quoted a fixed price, no matter how big or complicated. In my opinion, just charging hourly is lazy and or shows a lack of confidence in quoting. Now, hourly is only a part of the story. 168 sounds great, but even if you're driving 20 minutes between mows and spending half your day driving, it's going to kill your profits. Fuel expenses is the obvious negative, but non-billable time is the real killer. Profit per hour is really what matters, not income. A solo guy push mowing with a tight run can have 90% profit margin. A big setup with employees, big machinery, big vehicles, lots of debt, lots of travel might look impressive, but only have 50% margin, and so need to charge double or work twice as much as the solo guy just to match him.
Yeah, I don't know. This part of the comment, he's comparing his mulching to catching, but I'd never fucking charge the same amount to catch as I would to mulch.
Well, I wouldn't either.
But he's not doing too bad. Like $70 out on average a mow. He's like, it's a good hourly rate that he's got going. But
sounds like he's got a really successful business. And I think his whole point was that he is able to charge that same price, but earn more money per hour by not catching. So business-wise, I think that's pretty smart. I just think some of the other comparisons, there's just so many other variables. Like, when people are talking about the big setups and the employees and, the machinery and the vehicles and lots of debt, let's just use your setup, for example.
Yeah.
Now, you might be quoting similar pricing and have way more debt, but no one can really say like, oh, well, if they're quoting a similar price to me, but they have, 3 skags to pay for in this, and this, I must be doing way better because, like, does anyone really know the amount of business that you're doing? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
3, like, however many employees I've got making me money as well. Like, it's, there definitely would be some out there. Like, I know that probably guys, some guys work on volume. Some guys just work on volume and get their staff to make the money. Like the big jobs, like the tenders and shit like that, they're kind of cutthroat. So like there's not a lot of margin in those, but you put enough staff on it and you make the money out of the staff.
Well, that's,
I don't
I'm
kind of
actually
get it
glad that
because I'm like I'm that exact point. Like I've got debt. I don't have like ridiculous debt, but yeah, we're doing all right. So I just don't get that.
but the point about the tenders, I'm glad you brought that up because it is true. It's cutthroat. Like, if someone uses their, $120 an hour acre or whatever it was in some of these tenders, you would end up having a look and, geez, some of these council tenders and stuff, I mean, they're way down. You know
Yeah,
what I
and they're
mean?
worked
Like,
out at something on square meterage and shit like that. Like they literally have those tenders
and but,
worked
but,
out.
but what I mean is they're like way down,
Yeah,
and they make all of their money by just what you said. Like they might have 10 guys whippersnipping on a roadside. Each one of them, might be earning $32 an hour, but being charged out at, let's say it's even as low as $59 or whatever the case is.
yeah,
So you're not making that much off per person, but you got a fucking 100 of those motherfuckers and you're making some money.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
100%.
so, like I said, it's just so hard to really be comparing. Brett Williams says, I've only been doing this since December last year. What has always amazed me is how big the price range is here in my area. We have independents charging as little as $35 to do a nature strip and $45 to $50 an hour. These are the same guys that whinge every time you see them as how little work there is, but the guys charging almost double that, more than always, flat out saying that there is more than enough work to do to go around. Then there's others, including the franchisees, independents, charging anything from 80 to over 150 an hour. I started doing nature strips at $45 and average lawns at 70, gardening at 75 an hour. I quickly worked out that if I was to be around for the long haul and build a solid business, that I needed to bring this up. My base rate for a nature strip is now $55 and my average size lawns are now 85. I'm just going to stop it there because, I mean, look, it's been a long time since I was in the fucking nature strip game, but $55 for a nature strip is fucking, like, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So I'm not sure what the area is.
I mean, especially if you've got a few in a row.
So he says here, right on work is quoted at 125 an hour. But seriously, like if I was getting $55 to do a nature strip, man, fuck the ride on off.
Yeah, I'd just be doing nature strips.
And I could fucking bust that. How many nature strips could you bust out in an hour?
Oh, fucking just miles of the fucking things.
I mean, it obviously depends how lined up they are. Like that root density, makes a big difference.
I'll just be doing them on the fucking ride on.
Well, that's true. But yeah, man, I wouldn't even be messing with 125 an acre if I'm getting 55 for a fucking nature strip.
Yeah.
Gardening is now 85 an hour for general gardening, and hedges start from 95 an hour, goes up for poor access and heights. Once I need more than, say, a step ladder, it jumps to 120 an hour. At my original rates, I was winning over 95% of my quotes. Once I put the prices up, I'm still winning over 80% of my quotes, and the days are fully booked. I've been able to take a few days off through winter and still bring enough income to be comfortable with. I also have an offsider with me on average 2 days a week. This just helps me. It means that the day is a little bit lighter. I also try and book the larger jobs for these days. So far, this is working for me, and I'm working toward a second trailer so I can split my runs and take on more work.
That's excellent. Like if it's working for him, that's awesome. It's yeah,
absolutely. I'm not tripping on.
Yeah, his prices seem fucking excellent. I'd love to make 55 for a fucking nature strip.
Yeah, but so like, I just want to put this in context for everyone. Like in his area, right? he's saying you can get $55 for a nature strip. Let's say fucking Benny moves in town and I catch wind of this and I start charging $49 for nature strips.
Yeah.
And I just take all those motherfuckers away. You know what I mean? Like, does that mean that my business is going to be X amount less successful because I'm charging $6 less?
Well, it depends.
You know what I mean? Like,
depends on your overheads. You might not have. You might not have the staff member 2 days a week. You might not have a ride-on that you're paying off. You might have a smaller rig. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just work out of the ute. You don't have a trailer. It's all about those fucking variables, mate. It's it's one of those things that you never really know, and you can't really judge other people's prices until you know exactly what it's costing them to do their day.
So we have a comment here from Ryan Hedges.
That's a good name.
Pretty fun.
Yeah. Cool man.
Very interested to listen to this. Sometimes I feel like I get the pricing right, and other times I definitely feel like I've robbed myself. So, I mean, it's hard to say if we're doing the right thing by people here. Like, we're sort of questioning some of the really high prices, and then we just keep coming back to saying it just really doesn't matter what you're charging. I think the biggest rule is probably, I'll never forget it now, from Luke Smith, like, guys, just everyone know your numbers.
And you know what? Yeah. There's no benchmark in this industry. Like, no one, the industry varies so much as well, from like your road crews to your fucking solo operator doing, 30 square meter fucking postage stamps. There's no benchmark. Like, it's this business is, what you want to make it. But I have to fucking feel for him. Is there any worse feeling than an underquote? And having to pick up your balls and walk to the customer and say, look, I've done the job. So I would always honor my first quote, but then I would have to approach them and say, look, I've underquoted this. Can we negotiate on price? Either that or I can't service you. That sucks, because if you came to them with the right price in the first place, then maybe you would still have that job. But if they're like, no, I'm not going to negotiate, then you got to fucking walk away from that shit.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Andy says, firstly, glad you guys are back. BJ, we're all thinking of you and your family. So
thanks, Andy.
That's a really nice comment there. Pricing is very individual, but at the same time, you must be as competitive as you can. Less than 1% of us last longer than 20 years in our industry, according to a well-known American podcast. I will just stop that there and say, like, is that American podcast and those statistics relevant in Australia?
I'd say
because I don't know whether
they're probably undercooked, because I mean, let's face it, their conditions, the way they mow, are a lot different to the way we fucking do things here. Like, we are,
like cost of living and so many of these variables. It's hard to fucking really try and, I mean, just look at the equipment that we're purchasing, right?
Yeah. Well, they don't have to pay, and zero turns. Like, they have no shipping cost. Like, we have to fucking get these things loaded from the US.
And it is a known fact. Like, if you just say, let's look at the fast food industry, let's look at McDonald's. You've still got people in America earning $8 an hour in McDonald's, and you can buy a quarter pounder meal for $4.50.
Yeah.
And in Australia, it's like, man, these kids at Macca's now, they're probably getting like $16 or $17 an hour. And you can't buy a meal for less than $10. So, like, and I've spoken to Corey about it, like, the cost of living in Australia, it's sky high compared to over there. And it's because in America, the difference between low class, middle class, and high class is huge. The differences between them is huge. Whereas in Australia, someone like you or I, let's just call us middle class, we can rub shoulders in restaurants or in clubs with people that are fucking millionaires.
Yeah.
There's not, so much difference between that, whereas there's a lot of separation in America between all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, we will. That was sort of going off a little bit. He does say it makes you think of two things immediately. First, there's a shelf life for working physically in our industry, and secondly, lots of businesses either quit or go broke. Now, I would suggest that there's not that many people that leave high school and say, I want to be a fucking mole man. And then not only that, there's not that many people who, let's say 10 years after that, are like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do this till I fucking die.
Yeah.
It's just not that type of industry, right?
No, it's you got to say.
So he does say, like Jeff says above, it would be interesting to hear advice from the 20-year plus veterans. They have weathered the price wars with themselves and their clientele and survived a long haul. That being said, write a list of all your expenses and the odd ones that you expect. Guess the ones you don't know or ask others rough numbers, then add how much you want or need to make for the year, then divide that by the amount of hours you think you'll work in a year. If I've typed that right, that's a rough calculation for hourly rate. From what I read above, we sit on par with a lot of others, but I don't care too much about what others charge, and neither should anyone, except in the interest of being competitive in the work you do, but never at the detriment to your profit. This guy seems like really smart, like someone who pays a lot of attention to numbers. So hopefully some listeners out there can actually get something from that and be able to apply it or break it down into their own model.
100%. No, it's pretty cool. Like, and I love the last bit. I don't care too much about what others charge. Neither should anyone accept the interest of being competitive. So, like, when people are like, "Oh, what would you charge for this hedge?" And then there's always people in there that are like, "Oh, you're not." Someone will say, "Oh, I charge like $65 an hour," and then you get like all these comments just start rocketing through. They always turn into a shit fight. I have to say thank you to everyone who kind of jumped in on this thread, because there wasn't a lot of bullshit. Like there was lots of people putting individual comments, and then there'd be a few underneath, but there was no like people going nuts. Sometimes these pricing things they turn into like a price war. So it's kind of refreshing just to read what everybody does.
I got to be honest, BJ. I mean, maybe it's because we're reading directly from the thread and we obviously use their names, but I was keen on some shit, like you and I, along with the Skull Sessions podcast, we're no strangers to controversy.
That's it.
And so, I was kind of hoping for a little bit of sauce. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's still good for anyone who comes here looking for info. Hopefully they can get that from there. Ruben has another comment here saying he says, I see some people saying that you should not worry what others charge in an area and just do what keeps you happy. I thought that when I started, but luckily I bought existing business with rates were already high. I try to encourage every mower man I meet in my area to ask for a real good price. If they know I'm asking X amount and that most of the other established guys are asking similar amount, then they're not scared to put up their prices and make a good living. In the end, works out good for all of us. Sharing pricing structure amongst the other guys in your area can only serve to help us. That's also why forums like this are awesome. Look, I love Ruben, but I just also think that, like, I understand what he's saying. Like, it's good to converse with people and it's good for everyone to have their prices up high. But we shouldn't be also naive to think that there isn't someone out there that is going to hear that information and be like, oh, these guys are charging 70 an hour. I'm just going to charge 63 and just take all their work.
Yeah.
And, because they've broken down their numbers and they're like, well, I don't have a walker or, whatever. I might have a Skag and a Catch Pro. And so, that might be a combination of a machine that's like, say, $10,000 less.
Yeah.
And they've looked at those numbers and be like, I can make the same amount as him by charging less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's the variable there. The other variable is that I think you might meet a contractor in that area and, like I just still go back to if someone doesn't have good work, then I don't understand why they should be making the same amount as me. Yeah. That's just how I feel. And I'm not sure if that's right or wrong.
No, I totally agree. If they're not on the same level, like I don't feel like they should be getting the same amount. By all means, fucking go for it to them. But I feel like when it comes to those customers, it's like those customers that are willing to pay for a premium service, they're my customers. And if someone who's not going to supply a premium service is sort of snagging them and sort of just keeping them out of my market, it kind of is a little bit of annoyance.
And I will go back and say that, like, I'm not talking about a contractor or someone. Like, let's say I've got the best push mower out in the market, right? And then someone is using an Azito. I'm not talking about that person though. Yeah. And what, like at the end of the day, both of those mowers are probably going to mow that residential lawn. But what I am talking about is, okay, is he going to whippersnip first? And then is he going to blow all his debris from the road and all the pathways? Is he going to blow it back onto the grass and then mow it and vacuum it all up? Or is he going to quickly get out with the whippersnipper, throw fucking shit everywhere, mow, and then blow all the shit back onto the grass? That's really what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, if that person who the way that I've just described it, that's a shitter job than what I can do, I don't want them earning the same amount. And it sort of even goes a little bit back to Paul Luck's comment with the mulching and catching. And I know that we fucking have been around the block 3 times with this. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I don't understand. Maybe they don't have trees and leaves in his area, right? But I've done jobs before where you're blowing the leaves up out of the curb, and like, if you didn't have a catcher, I just don't know how the fuck you would clean that place. And I don't care how much mulching capability something has, it's just not going to be as good as if you caught it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, man.
So I'm still not tripping on it necessarily. Like, it in my business, it had never bothered me. Like, I built the Catch Pro, for example, because I felt like that was going to make me more efficient and better my business. And then we went to market with it because I thought that there might be others like me.
Yeah.
I sort of forgot what comment I was on, but I think the next comment is from Andy. Andy Doro says, not specific to pricing, just a few suggestions when quoting. Visit the customer every time for a quote. I fucking love that, Andy.
I've been stung with the photos.
Quote to do the work, not hourly. Follow up with your customer once you've sent the quote. Don't be afraid of not getting a few. Pretty blunt, but I like all of that.
I like the communication
is the key. Simon Thorne says demographic location is everything. For example, on a suburb or service, the going rate for a nature strip on a 4-weekly cycle is $20. I'm at 25, and another suburb or service, the going rate is the same size for the nature strip on a 4-week cycle is 40 to 60. I'm at 45. the two suburbs are only 10 minutes apart from each other. That's fucking weird, man, how there can be such a pricing difference between suburbs. Like, I mean, where we live in Wynnum, right? You know, you can turn a fucking corner and be on Millionaire's Drive.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, are we ready for a sidebar? I don't think we sidebarred yet.
Of course. Yeah, I can go for it.
I won't go in too much. I will just ask you if you know the area. Do you know the area like where Sibley Road is?
Yes.
And you can like make a right turn and go around a few, and you just straight up in the projects, like full man, like the most hardcore housing commission ever. Well, I was just in my car. Yeah, so I had been down there when I was the mowing contractor, right? And it was fucking awful. And we were just cruising around. It might have actually been during like, I can't remember if it was like a COVID lockdown or whatever, but sometimes we just go on drives with the family, right? And so I'm in the car with my 3 youngish kids and my wife, and I'm like, oh, do you just want to go down here and just suss some shit out? And man, as soon as we and when you get down there, you have to do a 3-point turn to get out of the whole area. Like, it's like the whole area is like housing commission and shit. And we've driven down there and we've already immediately seen some action, and just straight up, we saw like 3 half-naked people having the biggest domestic and chasing each other, and did a 3-point turn, got the fuck out of there. And then it was funny, like the other night, we're going to get a coffee or whatever, and like my 6-year-old's like, hey Dad, can we go down to the crazy place? And I'm like, fucking psychos, I'm not going down there.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's the same here. So I'm maybe 25, 30 minutes down the road, maybe a little bit more in peak hour, but like we're in a fairly nice area behind me. Most of the blocks they start at 800, and then they go all the way up to acreage, just like in suburbia. But yeah, there's a little bit further on, and it's just like unit block, fucking half destroyed houses, and yeah, it just fucking gets wild all of a sudden. And you can just tell, like, your price would just be like sitting at a level, and then all of a sudden you turn into a street and it just fucking drops out, and then you get back off that street and it drops back up. It's fucking wild.
A really cool dare would be to like skate through on a skateboard with a carton of VB on your shoulder and see how many houses you can get past before you get rolled. Andrew
can get many, that's for sure.
Andrew Thompson
didn't you get spat at?
Sorry?
Didn't you get spat at or something on one of your streets? Off of
sure.
Randall Road? Was it near Randall Road you used to live?
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't some kid spit at you or tell you to fuck off?
That's right. Some kid, like, yeah, he was only a kid.
Like a little dude.
Yeah, he was like a 10-year-old kid or something, just like looked up, slagged on the ground, and gave me like, oh yeah, what's up, cunt? What are you looking at? I should have just emptied out my ashtray for him. roll up some banger for the boss. Anyway, Andrew Thompson says, my only tip for pricing is know your costs very well and price a number that is sustainable and rewarding for you to work in. Not every business needs to be the cheapest. Some businesses thrive on being the most expensive. Working Grass Man. Now, let me just say, Working Grass Man, I fucking love that business name. He's one of my... He buys some stuff off Catch Pro, and I love it when like I see the orders come in from some of these businesses, because some of them are just fucking hilarious and clever. A positive for the hourly rate system is that it gives you an exit strategy. You may be working on a jungle. You can tell the client, I'll come spend 4 hours using commercial grade equipment and get as much as I can done, and that'll make a big difference to your yard. The price will be whatever you decide. That way, you know how long you'll be on site and allocate other work after it. once you've done the work for the client, they might be happy with that and want to book you in for a couple more hours. So good example of how that hourly rate can work for some people. And, like I said, it's not a very profitable business structure, but I don't think that you'll ever really go backwards.
No. Well, you can't lose it hourly, unless you just sit on smoke all day.
Well, I mean, I guess the only way that you can't lose, the only way that you can lose is if your business is just costing you way more than what you're charging, right? So he goes on a new comment to say, a lot of people say it's important to know your numbers, which of course it is, but you should also know the going rate in your area for the types of work you do. Gym seems to be a great source of pushing up prices in our industry, so it's good keeping an eye on their rates. Even if your outgoings are low, why would you want to give a huge discount if you know that you can do a good job? So that kind of seconds, Ruben's comment before about keeping in touch with the franchises. Rick Tully, it depends on what the possibilities are too. I've got a call to mow a school oval 12 years ago. Did that one, and they handed me another on the other side of town. I drove an hour to get there, mowed for an hour and a half on my 32-inch Cox mower, and drove home for $240, 3.5 hours plus fuel and e-tag. Was it worth it? Not initially. And the next few months, I got calls from this company to do more bits and pieces all over Melbourne. I've now been mowing these 12 schools for 12 years. I don't get paid for every hour I work, and I have a set amount of cuts per year, but I just cut them as needed. Last year, my contract was for 26 cuts. We did 30 cuts on each school because of the long growing season. The years before that, I had 18 cuts, but I've always done more. I'm just about to sign another 2 years at 32 cuts per site. I look after them pretty well, maybe too well. I'm really just a number to them, as big companies really don't care too much for contractors, but the work has been there for me for a long time. Plus, there's plenty of other stuff we do for them throughout the year. If you get an opportunity, you've got to grab it with both hands. That one job outside your area could feed your family and pay your mortgage for a long time. Even though we kind of went around the block there twice to sort of just get across the road, but I know what he means.
Yeah.
He's talking a little bit more about, I guess it's the flip side to route density.
Yeah.
And that sometimes taking an opportunity that might not be super rewarding, like right then in that moment, can really turn out to be so fantastic later on.
Yeah.
So, and BJ, in both of our businesses, we both have instances exactly like that, where you've mowed a courtyard for someone, right? For almost no price. Like you've mowed a courtyard for someone, and then all of a sudden that person is married to the person who manages one of the biggest villages in town. Fucking there it is.
That's it.
So, and look, you can only really look back on that in hindsight. You can't look at every opportunity that there is and be like, oh, that's going to be fucking rewarding later on. You have to gauge it.
And how do you know too, like if you missed opportunities? I'd rather not know. But that's awesome. That's a fucking good relationship he's got. 12 years doing any job is fantastic. But to have 12 schools, that's
who
good.
The fuck has a connection who the fuck is in charge of 12 schools anyway? Like,
yeah, that's awesome. Like he's fucking
like, has he gotten into like some fucking education?
Well, it's probably someone who got the contract for Education Victoria or whatever. And yeah, but that's excellent, man. 12 schools. And it's probably what he likes to do. Like we were saying, like, the jobs that you like to do, sometimes you will take a little bit of a hit on either time, which he has, or, a little bit of cash, which I guess equates to time anyway. But yeah, it looks like obviously too, he's made, he's made measures that he's going to up the cuts. So it's not like he's going to lose out. He's got 32 cuts a year this year. So he's obviously believing that El Nino's coming back.
Yeah, man, she already here. Mark Bennett, you have good reason to not want to talk about this topic because it really does vary greatly what setup you run, what clients you're chasing, but I think most importantly, regional or metro, term that gets thrown around all the time. And I think is not to get lost in route density. Yes, it is a thing, but for the regional guys, it's less important as it can't always be achieved. The focus on what you charge should be based on the cost of your running your business. A term you should get around is know your numbers. How much a year do you spend to run your business? How much in wages, super, work cover? How much does each piece of equipment cost? Over $330 cost, and how many years before you replace it? Can I just stop with that comment? Is he saying how much does every piece of equipment cost over $330? So like, if a piece of equipment costs you less than 300, then you don't really need to look at how long it will last, what the maintenance is.
Maybe. I mean,
okay. I just never heard of that before. I didn't know if there was.
I mean, what can you fucking get for $330 these days? Commercial grade equipment, anyway. Cord?
Maybe he's talking about a wheelbarrow. Like if you buy a wheelbarrow, you can probably look at it and be like, "Fuck yeah, I'll have this till I die." Even though that's not fucking true. You know, I fucking stole a wheelbarrow, man.
Admission.
Yeah, I'm a dog. The reason why I stole it, right? I was doing a job at the mansion. People on this podcast have heard me talk about the mansion before.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of other trades there. Stories guys were there as well. And I'm the mower man, right? So out of all the people that were on this work site, nobody gave a fuck about the mower man. And, you know, like they'd have extension cords. Like there'd just be fucking shit everywhere when I'm trying to do stuff. And I could tell the way that they were nobody was respecting me. So these dudes left and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm taking this bazzer, eh? And, you know, I've had it for years and years and years. Always kept it clean. And, you know, like I've sort of had like a work one and a home one. Anyway, when I was moving house, obviously I needed sandbags because we had all that rain. I had some sandbags at my old house when we were flooding. And I needed to move into the new house. And with my back, I couldn't do everything. So I'm, you know, loading up sandbags, rah, rah, rah. Me fucking wheelbarrow snapped in half. What the fuck? I don't really know what the point of that story was, Beach. I'm sorry you had to hear it.
Karma just got you, that's all. Talking about stealing wheelbarrows. It's all right. It gave you plenty of years of service.
Yeah, well, you know what? They don't have it either, so fuck them. How many days a week do you want to work? How many hours a day? I actually want to stop that there because we know that there's businesses out here that have like a really high premium rate, but they don't work 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the yearly totals, there's like a huge imbalance. Someone charging like $150 an hour might still earn half the amount of someone.
Yeah.
That
I mean, this is a lifestyle gig. It's a lifestyle gig to a lot of people. Like someone, you know, like someone's husband or wife might make a fucking small fortune and you've got 3 or 4 days to fill. So, you know, this suits, you like doing it and, you know, it works for you. So I don't know. I guess like that's another variable and it's each to their own. But when you're working it out, like a lot of people are saying work out your hourly rate or your day rate or whatever over a year. And when it comes to the 3 and 4 day a week guys, and that's not going to really cut it. You need to figure out a better formula.
What was that noise I just heard?
That was not a fart. That's the kids getting crazy, moving chairs and shit.
Okay, because it just sounded like it sounded like an animal. Yeah. It's like but it was funny how you just kind of talked through it, just like, yeah, fuck, I can hear that, but I'm not even going to
There's been
acknowledge.
a few questionable noises coming from upstairs. Everyone's switching
I
out.
I can hear my shower going, and I'm just, all I'm thinking is like, oh man, my wife's naked right now in the shower.
I can hear the air fryer going, so all I'm thinking is, ooh, nums, what's for dinner?
The next thing that I'm thinking is, I hope to fuck it's not one of my daughters in the shower, not my wife.
Oh,
okay, so this is actually the last comment, so I'm going to read the rest of it. A good margin to grow a business is no less than 30%. Now that's margin, not markup. Markup on cost to get to a 30% margin would be a bee's dick over 40%. How much do you charge an hour should be relative to the actual cost per hour. Reach out to people if you want help. Glad to help if I can. So this is Mark Bennett. He's on the LMCA page. If there is anyone there and also listening to this, feel free to reach out to Mark. Because, he's happy to help.
Very cool.
So that's the end of those comments. I'm going to bring up a few comments that we have on the Aussie Lawn Contractors group. Yep. Was there anything that you wanted to add, to anything?
It's been 2 episodes of basically telling everyone that, there's so many variables. Don't get pigeonholed by anyone else's pricing and just work out your own. It's pretty crazy that there is such a variation in prices, but there's also a variation in businesses, job types, specialities, fucking overheads. It's just fucking, it's crazy. It's a cool industry though when you think about it. It's like, I guess when you hit things like trucking and shit like that, when you get to a certain point, you can only move certain things with certain equipment. So with our business, you can go out and mow the same lawn with a fucking $1,500 push mower as you can with a $15,000 mower. Just might take you longer.
Yeah. So I have the thread up, and look, there's fuck all comments on here, and some of them are actually comments from both threads. So this is not going to take very long. Mick Brady says here, this is a great topic and it's an awesome podcast, guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Mick.
Thanks, buddy.
Goes on to say prices will vary depending on individual businesses from different locations. For example, Mildura, Victoria, we've only started in the past 12 months paying for tip fees. So our prices will be different to those that have been paying for years. I think we pay like 20 or 30 a tandem trailer load. Other locations I've heard pay a lot more. As for hourly pricing, I like to quote per job to reach and ideally per hour rate. So I generally quote based on aiming for an absolute minimum of $66 an hour to the $120 an hour per person. This depends also on what tools equipment is needed on the job. There are a lot of variables, but as long as everything has been covered in your cost and making you profit, keep mowing on. Ryan Wallace has actually asked, is there a place to watch the podcasts? So
on YouTube,
jump on YouTube. Catch Pro Australia YouTube channel, guys, if you want to check this out. I will admit that the Zoom chats are not very entertaining to watch. It's a lot better. It's a lot better when we're in person.
Definitely. It's my least favorite way to do a fucking podcast.
Jacob says originally started out charging Cowboys rates at $30, which was comparable to more than 2 hours wage as a junior at the time. I was happy back then, and the experience here on LMCA through the trial and error baptism highlighted me to charge needs to many other aspects. I'm just going to stop it here and say that you're actually on the Aussie contractors page, not LMCA. Whilst we think it's completely normal, it is blasphemy in some people's minds.
Yeah.
It's not just money for you, it's money for the labor, your employee, because nobody works for free. Money for the business expenses like fuel, maintenance, or new equipment and growth, but also profit for the shareholders as well. In my case, I'm a sole trader. What shareholders are we talking about?
What?
So when I finally got a grasp of three different concepts, I think changed my outlook on pricing. The dollar a minute was a good start as a newbie, and although I learned it wasn't enough, it eased the pain along the way. Love the podcast and knowledge here on LMCA.
Oopsie daisy.
We have a comment from Jake. He says, love listening to us. You guys are hilariously funny, and you've also taught me so many things that I didn't know about. Really appreciate it. Well, I appreciate that comment.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Now, we've got a comment here from Johnny Lumberwood. Now, I don't know who this is. Do you know who this is, dude?
Yeah, I know who it is.
Who is it?
It's Greg.
This is Greg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't think he's sold out on Aussie contract.
Johnny, I don't get it. Johnny Lumberwood. Why has he got a different name?
I think he got booted for too many breaches.
Okay. Like from Facebook or?
I'm not sure, but yeah, I think I didn't know who it was either.
Okay. I didn't. So anyway, he says, glad to hear you're involving this page in your potty. Cheers. I base my work at 100 per hour. Sometimes I get more. I have a few stragglers at 85 now, but they're easy jobs and regular work. I think pricing is very area dependent and also operator skill level, sales talk dependent. But above everything, you are only worth what someone is prepared to pay you. I do want to say the operator skills level / sales talk dependent. Now, throughout, I don't know how many hours this episode's been going for, or I know it's a two-parter, but no one's really talked about, like
the gift.
Yeah, how much of a salesman that you really are.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to say, BJ, I know for a fact that in greenscapes, not that I necessarily got the prices because of my talking, but like I know that there was time. Let's talk about the retirement village. Like I knew there was times I was like, fucking hell, we are dropping the ball here. But I knew that I was safe because there were relationships that I had with all of the higher ups.
Yeah.
And whether it's selling yourself or maybe you've got a certain amount of, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but no, it was like, if someone knows you're going through a tough time and they just have a certain amount of sympathy for you, know, for example, man, I know that really, like, in some of the tough times and that, I know when we drop the ball, like, and I was going to pick the ball back up again, but you know what I mean? Like, because I developed those relationships with those customers, I knew that if I was going through a rough patch, I'd still be okay. And it's funny that we haven't discussed or talked about any of that.
Yeah.
So along with your pricing, along with your skills, along with all the other variables that we have, it sort of comes back, or at least is a factor of, you yourself as a salesperson.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if you are communicating well, let's say if you're not communicating well and your price was high and maybe you dropped the ball, that customer is really going to be like, man, this prick doesn't even fucking talk to me and he's always grumpy as shit. He charges me high. He charges me high and now he's fucking forgot to snip around the letterbox. Fuck him. I'm getting rid of him.
Yeah.
So we have one more comment here from Gary Ashton over at Aussie Lawn Stars. He says, so take the cost of paying an employee, add expenses, and make sure that there's also some profit to make sure you cover the effort it takes to be in business. This formula looks like, but not exactly, 25 to 45 an hour for the wage plus 25 to 45 an hour for expenses. Huge variables here. And add a similar amount again, general of thirds for profit to pay your administration costs, aka unbillable hours. This gives you anything from 75 an hour to 150, as you need to adjust the expenses when running larger equipment, and the higher your profit, the bigger your tax bill, amongst other things. Of course, a lean solo operator can shave some off this, but if he isn't future proofing his business with a reasonable rate, he may not last more than one season. And the question of how you communicate your rate to the customer depends on your confidence as much as if you're in an hourly or job rate. Different types of customers have different needs, and some of us are happy to recognize the customer's need, while some of us struggle to recognize our own needs. If you are fully aware of what it costs to be in business, you can confidently quote in the way that gives the customer what they need and looks after your own interests. So, there's a lot to unpack there. I think it's probably a little bit too much of a generalized comment.
Yeah.
I've had personal talks with Gary where we've disagreed on this topic so many times. So I just don't know the best way to break that down. But at the same time, I know Gary to be, a reasonably intelligent person. And I don't think you need to be intelligent necessarily, but I think it helps. Like, if you're intelligent, you're going to make probably better choices.
Yeah.
But intelligent.
He definitely hit the money when he was talking about, the customer interactions. Because something we didn't really touch on. There's lots of guys out there that won't do anything else but mowing. Like, they don't touch hedges, they don't garden, they don't spray weeds, they literally just mow. And I guess, it's a different kind of, if that guy's charging the same amount as I am, and I've got all these extras that I can offer, that's another one that's a bit of a on the nose.
Well, I mean, I guess it just means they just got to have more customers, right? You can earn more per customer. Yeah. Maybe they have to do 5 more customers a day, which has overheads included. So we're pretty much at the end of the thread there. There is a few comments there from Nurtured Lawns and Brendan, but they were both in the other thread. Now, I sort of want to end by saying, I hope we achieve something. This has been a big 2-parter. We love our interactive episodes. Was there anything that you personally wanted to add, BJ, to just sort of put a bow on this one?
Oh, look, I think we probably touched on it a million times, but just don't judge anyone else's prices, really, until the ins and outs of their businesses. I don't think anyone's got a right to dictate to anyone else what they should and should be charging.
Fair enough. I'm pretty much the same way. I've gotten so over. I've never been into the price talks. Like, I don't feel that, like, it's just not something that I'm interested in. I also don't know that it should be as wide open and blown open as what some others think it should be. Yeah. I think being competitive is what actually drives the whole industry up, not all working together. I think if we all work together and all charge the same rate, I think that causes more issues in the industry.
Yeah.
Competition creates cash. So, I think it's healthy to have, some variables in the pricing. Yeah. Now, what I will say is that BJ and I will be back together. And I guess I'm going to give myself a little Catch Pro plug here, eh?
Yeah, do it.
For everyone that is looking for equipment defender stuff, this gear is arriving on Monday, which is probably the day that you're listening to it. So we will be shipping immediately. Also want to say that we finally have whipper grippers in stock. We're not back ordered anymore. So if you are placing orders, We're finally starting to catch up, and we will be shipping them immediately as well. With all that being said, dude, we are outies.
Yeah.
I am at Catch Pro. He is at TBL, and we are out of time. Thanks very much for joining us.
Peace.